Andres Alvarez here with, I guess, my third demo of the Wages of Wins website I've been working on that should be going live this upcoming Saturday. Anyway, I've added a little bit of new functionality that I want to go over, and I did give a talk about a day and a half ago, but I kind of spoke without cue cards, so to speak, and kind of missaid a few things, so I wanted to correct that as well as show off a little bit of the new functionality. So first off, just to cite sources, if you go to stumblingonwins.com and scroll to the very bottom to calculating wins produced, the set of steps shown on this site here is the exact set of steps I use when I'm calculating the wins produced on this website. Alright, so really the biggest thing that I've added since last time that I did show in the last demo is kind of this breakdown of the wins produced per 48 minutes. It actually shows the stats that correlate well with wins and how they're weighted by Dr. David Berri in the book Wages of Wins and Stumbling on Wins to calculate how a player is helping or hurting their team. So I broke down the categories, and then I've also added cliff notes to myself so I can show how the weights are adjusted. And I figured a good thing to do is I could just go over the All-NBA first and second team to actually give a snapshot of how all the players are doing. So I'll start with LeBron James, and the first category is points, and we can see the weighting is .064 for three-pointers, .032 for two-pointers, and .017 for free throws made. This correlates well with wins, hence it's green. Okay, so Dwight Howard, also on the NBA first team, goes to the next category, which is misses. So every time a player misses, notice it's in red, they hurt the team. So for field goal misses, the weight is .032, and for free throw misses, it's .015. The next category, which correlates well with wins, and I'm going to use Kevin Durant for this one, is rebounds. So we'll notice offensive rebounds and defensive rebounds are weighted almost exactly the same, .033 and .032. And they're basically worth about the same as a point because you're getting the team the ball, which does help them out. So the next player, also on the All-NBA first team, and in the top 10 I would like to point out in wins produced, is Dwayne Wade. And we'll go to steals. Steals, also very similar to boards, .033 is the weight, correlates well with winning, so green. And the last player on the All-NBA first team, I'm going to have to scroll down a bit for, is Kobe Bryant. And the category I'll use for him that hurts is turnovers. Giving the ball away hurts the team, hence red, and the weight for that is .032. Alright, and now moving on to the All-NBA second team, I'm actually just going to sort by category here, is Amari Stoudemire. And we'll notice here blocks and assists do help out in, do correlate well with winnings, but do not necessarily get the team the ball or get the team a point. But so the weight for blocks is .019. We'll notice Amari Stoudemire isn't necessarily as highly rated as some other people. All right, the next category is for Dirk Nowitzki, is assists. So assists also correlate well with winning, and the weight given to those is .022. All right, and so then the another category is fouls. So just to point out how these are calculated, this is the number of points given away based on free throw attempts to the opponent team, and then you calculate the percentage of fouls given by the player, and you multiply this by .017. This correlates negatively with wins, so you'll notice it's in red. All right, so moving on to Utah for Darren Williams, we'll go to the team adjustment. Now, I pointed out last time, and this time as well, it's marginal, but it's very important if you want to get an accurate assessment of an accurate estimate of a team. So the first part is the defensive adjustment. If you play on a team that plays good defense, you'll actually get a boost to your stats. If you play on a team that plays bad defense, you'll get a bump to your stats. You'll notice we subtract for how many two-pointers and three-pointers the opponents make, the weights being .064 for three-pointers, .032 for two-pointers, and also subtract for all the turnovers your team does that can't be attributed to individual players, which is .032. Then we reward the team if they force turnovers on the opponent and get team rebounds. And these are the opponent turnovers and team rebounds are rebounds and turnovers that aren't attributed to an individual player. Now then the other team adjustment is your teammate adjustment, which is if your team is good at blocking and assisting, they actually hurt you. They're going to do a bump to your stats. Conversely, if your team is bad at blocking and assisting, they're going to boost you. They're not helping out as much. So these are both compared to the league average and added in, and they give a nice accurate assessment of how your team is helping or hurting you. And then the last part is the position adjustment. So the wins produced looks at how an average player would behave in the point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, and center position. These are calculated first by just looking at the guard, center, and forward, which basketballreference.com assigns players, and then reallocating players as need be by BMI and height. So you'll notice Carlos Boozer is a center half the time and a power forward half the time because the Utah Jazz didn't have enough minutes at center. So we look at how an average player would behave at that position. I've got these showing here for each one. Point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, and center. We'll notice as the positions get taller, the average tends to get better. So basically, by being in a certain position, you have to pay a cost for that. You know, as Carlos Boozer pays a lot for being in the power forward and center position. And so really, those are all the things that go into calculating the wins produced per 48. So you add up all the green, you subtract all the red, and if you basically are positive in the green, you're above average player. If you break even, you're an average player, and if you've got more red than green, you're a below average player. And so the average here in the wins produced per 48 minutes would be 0.1. So we notice, for instance, Carlos Boozer is very good at a 0.294. All right, and then one other thing that I've added that I thought was pretty cool was the win percentage and salary percentage that I've got showing over here. So what this does is I make the assumption that at the end of the season, a team is perfectly content with the number of wins they got, and you want to assess if you paid players correctly. So here, Andre Iguodala gets paid 19.13% of the salary, but he produced 44.21% of the wins. So this is a shout out to Travis Heath over at hoopsworld.com, who consistently calls Andre Iguodala overpaid. I'm just going to disagree and show that. And then hopefully I'll be writing for the Denver Nuggets once this gets up and going. So I just wanted to make one point on the Denver Nuggets using this assessment before I logged off, which is if you look at the Denver Nuggets, Carmelo Anthony, Kenyon Martin, and J.R. Smith are responsible for roughly 50% of the team's salary, are only contributing about 25% of the team's wins. So for next season, they should either give Carmelo Anthony, Kenyon Martin, J.R. Smith massive pay cuts or consider trading. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the new explanation and looking forward to Saturday. Thanks very much.